evening, everyone. I'm Alice Ty, the Director of Special Projects and Institutional Planning, and it's wonderful to see all of you here tonight for this special Founders Day, which celebrates Karen Lawrence's 5th anniversary as president of the Huntington.
This is actually the 97th commemoration of Founders Day at the Huntington. It is a conversation around the roles and responsibilities of cultural institutions in the world today, the Huntington's evolution over time, and particularly in the last 5 years, and how we continue to honor the founders' intent as the core of our mission. Dr. Karen Lawrence has been with us since 2018, and I can tell you from personal experience, she is a whirlwind of directed energy. Please join me in giving a warm Huntington welcome to Dr. Lori Bettison-Varga and Dr. Karen Lawrence.
Good evening. Yes, it's truly my delight and honor to be here today with you, Karen, on Founders Day and this celebration of your first 5 years. What are the differences and similarities between what you did before as an academic and college president and what you get to do here at the Huntington?
I remember when you called me, Lori said, "Welcome to LA, and I'm so glad you're going to be at the Huntington." And you said something like, academic institutions are so important and have great benefits, but this is so much more fun. A major difference is, and something that really struck me when I came, that we have 5-year-olds to 95-year-olds, lifelong learners, who come and embrace the Huntington as their place and community. That is something that's incredibly special.
I thought about Maya Angelou, who said, "The most perilous risk during times of upheaval isn't the turmoil itself, it's clinging to yesterday's reasoning." How have you harnessed the timing of your arrival to move the Huntington even more into this promising future?
So let me start with when I got here in 2018, right before,
2018.
But I mean the fall of 2018, right before we were celebrating the centennial, 100-year-old institution. There was time to celebrate the past. It was a time to celebrate the past, and to really understand how much had been done in the evolution of the Huntington already. I also came at a time when, right before I got here, the staff at the Huntington had expressed concerns about inadequate diversity at the Huntington. And that was a really important thing to listen to. We made a few moves, and a major one was creating a DE&I plan.
Right.
When the twin crises of COVID and the murder of George Floyd occurred, we were, I think, in a much better position because we had some tools to be dealing with that and weren't reacting to something without having thought about it, and have more to do, but we were glad to be in that position.
Of course we do, right? All of us do.
Yeah.
It's a journey, and it's a continuous one. What would surprise Henry and Arabella Huntington about what you're doing differently?
There were, I think, 2.5 million objects in the library, which was Henry's pride and joy. And now there are 13 million objects. I think the 1 million visitors. I think the mission, the goals of education and research and public welfare were there and are still, but I think the breadth and depth and magnitude would floor Henry and Arabella. I think he would be surprised, they would be surprised, walking in the gardens and just seeing so many different people and such diversity and different ages. He wouldn't have anticipated that we would send Blue Boy back to the National Gallery. They would be surprised to see in the Thornton Portrait Gallery Kehinde Wiley's portrait of a young gentleman. And I think that's a wonderful way that the collection and that painting that he cared about so much has been so generative. And to your point about the past being a usable past
Right.
for people in the future, I think is borne out every day at the Huntington.
It's fantastic. Well, and given that premise, I know that you are thinking about the next 5 years, and I know you have other plans, and we want to hear what those are. Tell us some of the highlights.
I did write a message a couple of days ago about Charlie Munger and the Munger family's wonderful gift to us, which will enable us to create residential housing for our fellows for a long time. Affordable housing for scholars and fellows coming to the Huntington has been really tough. The other major building project that we will have is a voluntary retrofitting of the beautiful main exhibition hall that Myron Hunt built. And so that will be renovated. But the building right behind it, which is an auxiliary building and not the same kind of historic building, will be completely redone and will bring together art and library works on paper and staff. We'll have a conservation lab, which is something that we have wanted for a while for objects, and double the storage space. And we are planning ambitious programs, which really, part of the strategic plan is magnifying the impact of more collections, sharing them more broadly, again, in person and digitally, and engaging the public. Be leaders for a sustainable world. That is a major, major aspect of what we're doing. And trying to bring perspectives from our collections to contemporary issues. Our education group is planning a youth summit in the fall, which will be 150 high school students coming together to really address issues of climate and use our collections and our incredible botanical gardens and the expertise here to address that. Sustaining things and regeneration, leaving things better than they were when you found them.
Right.
I'd like that to be both a metaphor and the reality of what the Huntington will look like in 10 years.
So many of your strategic goals there just overlap directly with the kinds of things we're doing. And I think about the sustainable future piece, and we really do need to collaborate across LA and across the nation and the world on these major issues so that we can highlight the ways in which our institutions, living collections, other collections, actually inform what's happening today and help us think about the future.
I am happy to announce that we've been working on a memo of understanding with the Smithsonian Institution, where our institutions will collaborate. We're really working on a way to bring our resources together and joint programming.
I think now we should see if there are audience questions.
You started your career teaching James Joyce's work. How does that relate to your work as an administrator now?
Oh, I want to hear this.
Ulysses, 700 pages, shows the interior lives of some ordinary people. I think reading carefully, looking at language carefully, thinking of what is said and not said. I believe that about novels. I believe that about humanities, about history and literature, that it gives you a glimpse into somebody not yourself.
I'll ask both of you this one. So you talked about how during COVID, the Huntington was a place of respite for people. Where's your spot at the Huntington where you find peace and solace?
I love the desert garden.
She picked mine.
Final one for both of you. What about LA's cultural scene right now is the most exciting?
Los Angeles and the Southern California area, we have more museums and cultural entities than New York does. This is the hotbed of activity in culture and arts, right? So we're excited about that.
It's true.
Okay, we're going to leave you guys wanting more. Please join me in thanking our guests again.